Hey everybody, welcome to Tuhon and Son. This is kind of a weird episode. It's a roundtable discussion with one microphone, so everyone's going to take turns talking. I'm here with my dad, Sled Dog, Tuhon, Gelinas, whatever you want to call yourself, Dad. And I'm here with Crafty Dog, Marc, Denny, and I'm here with Rene, Cocolo. What's your dog name again? Growling Dog. Yeah, his baby's here too, and she's been growling all day, so it's kind of ironic. But anyway, we're with some ladies. We got my mom, and we got I don't think we met. Have we met? Hello. State your name for everyone at home.
My name is Rahel K.
And you were a spectator this weekend?
This weekend I was a spectator, and I've had the honor and pleasure in the past of participating in the gathering and also in a lot of the seminars. And the interesting thing about being a spectator this time was hearing the reactions of people who have never seen a Dog Brothers gathering ever. And the awe and shock of the sound of sticks hitting someone's body, and then they're looking at me like, is this for real? And I'm just like, yes, this is for real. This is really happening.
All right, well, I noticed you're holding a human life right now.
Yes, so I took a little hiatus from training for a little bit. I got a chance to train with Guru Marc Denny today, and that's the baby crying.
The wee little human is getting growly like her dad. Anyway, all right, so with arm's reach, we're going to talk to the guys a bit about the Dog Brothers 5th Canadian Gathering. That happened this weekend. Dad, how did it go?
I think it went awesome. We had visions of having about 15 or 16 competitors or fighters on Thursday because people were not really, at least I hadn't quite organized their arrival. And at last count, we had 34. So quite the really great surprise.
Awesome, fantastic. Marc, comments?
Well, right now I'm choosing my dessert. Pass it over to Rene first.
All right, Rene.
Yeah, just another awesome event. Really amazing fights, and just seeing a lot of new talent coming out there. That's really, really good. It's going to keep some of us older guys on our toes, sort of thing.
Yeah, I noticed some of the young bloods really, I know that because I was videotaping it, I was counting how many times they were fighting, and I'm like, out of everybody there, the young guys were just kind of like licking their lips, waiting to go fight again, while the old guys were reflecting on what just happened to them. Anyway, Marc, now that you've chosen your dessert.
Well, wonderful fighting spirit, and it's a fairly compact fighting area that you're in compared to either Euro gatherings, which tend to be an open basketball court, or the U.S. gatherings, open gatherings at Go Cours, which is a pretty wide open space. And some of the distinctive things that I noticed is that there's relatively little going to the ground, or even ramming people up against the wall. It happened in a few fights, but there's this sort of, we were laughing and joking during the day about how nice Canadians are. Someone would hit the other guy and go, sorry. And no, hit him. If somebody drops their stick, hit him. But a good, wonderful spirit, wonderful skill. Fine day of dog brother fighting.
The upside I find to a small space is that it starts the action right away, right? When there's a big space, sometimes I find people kind of like circling, and then they'll attack. But when you don't have a lot of space, it just makes me uncomfortable. It just basically makes people fight right off the bat, right? So it keeps the action going like nonstop.
Anyway, so watching all these young people smack the crowd themselves, man, I saw some epic boo-boos this time. Like, I usually notice the boo-boos, but Gamma's own Guillaume, his first time in a Dog Brothers gathering, at one point was kind of like hugging somebody like a monkey, like someone much taller, as the other guy proceeded to pelt him in the butt with his stick like 5 times in a row. And the thing is, like, I know Guillaume, on a personal level. So when he puts on the mask, all of a sudden I kind of felt like Adrian and Rocky, watching him get the beating of a lifetime. And it's just like, but Guillaume did really well. But at the same time, I was just so much more conscious of his mortality because everybody else to me, although I know them, just kind of are just guys with masks. But there was this element of, because it was his first fight, this element of danger in my mind. I'm just like, I hope he's going to be okay. And and the thing about it that I think is good and reminiscent about Dog Brother's spirit, and that everyone's friends at the end of the day. No matter what happened, him getting his head smashed into a fence, or just the beating on the butt, or the cut in his eye, every time he took off his mask, he was a kid on Christmas time. He just seemed like he was having such a good time, no matter how vicious the beating. Just like, big smile, grin, ear to ear, a big grin. So that's kind of another thing I noticed about all these Dog Brother gatherings that I watch and sometimes forced to videotape. That everybody's in a super good mood at the end of the day. There's kind of like this endorphin that is released in the room. There's this positivity. There's this. I think the fact that there's no winners kind of has something to do with that.
Roger Whistle, I think, or C Sage Dog. His hand's broken.
Okay.
And
But not his will.
he sent me a message this morning kind of saying, hey, thanks for that fight. I really enjoyed it. Which is, well, I think it was like Matt broke his thumb and I ended up breaking the other side of his hand. So it was, he's out of commission for a while. But, it's like, it's kind of neat when that happens, right? Like when Kalani broke my arm, it was like I sent him a message saying, dude, awesome fight. I really enjoyed that. So it's a little bit different, I guess, than most other sports where someone knocks you out and they're like, I can't wait to destroy you sort of thing. With us, it's more like, hey, man, thanks.
Everybody knows the higher consciousness through harder contact, but the full thing goes like this. The greater the dichotomy, the profounder the transformation. Higher consciousness through harder contact. And what the dichotomy refers to is that in order to do what we do, we go very far into the aggressive state, but for it to work in equal measure, you must keep your watcher fully active and conscious of what you're doing so that you don't do too much. That's why I'm not a referee. Because in a pro fight, you smash until the referee, most guys smash until the referee pulls them off. That's the code. Whereas in with a weaponry fight, there's no way that you can count on the referee to get in timely fashion. The fighters have to remain conscious and aware of what they're doing and not go too far. And so the experience of going in opposite directions in equal measure and by so doing maintain your inner balance, that's a very powerful experience, and there's a real altered state that experience provokes. And so for me, I know when I'm teaching the following day that people are going to be in a very deep, open, receptive state. That the learning that they're going to get at this, when they come for the seminar the next day, hint for you people who don't come the next day. And the idea I have is to try to carry that with you as long as you can, to keep that altered state with you always.
I find that you guys, when you have a seminar the day after, that everything you teach in the minds of your students that day is a necessity for survival. And someone made a comment. It's like, wow, I wish we learned all this yesterday, but the day before the seminar. But as you said, like, unless you've taken the hits, you don't know why you should like lift up your arm and block this way and stuff like that. As they're like bending their wrist that's pre-bruised from yesterday, they're just thinking that's probably what makes them connect with that. They're like, oh, if I did this yesterday, my face wouldn't hurt. But you gotta learn the lesson the hard way, I guess, right?
It takes a while, right? Like for me, I've seen Sled Dog and Crafty Dog teach quite a few times, and it was like today where I was sitting down watching them going, okay, that makes sense now. Like I had to kind of grow as a person to understand. I didn't believe him at all until I broke my hand. No, you learn all the time. It never ends. So sometimes it's the small things that you kind of miss. And today I was watching like the footwork or some of the stuff that you guys were doing, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. It's only taken 8 years to sink in. And hopefully I can use it next year, sort of thing.
Is there anything else you guys want to add about the weekend and stuff like that? Like, it's super cool. The three of you did seminars, one after another today. It was about 1.5 hour bouts each. I was there to witness Marc's seminar in person, and where all these quotes came from. How was your seminar, Dad? Because as soon as you went up, I bailed.
It was awesome. We had people coming in off the street just saying, amazing. No, actually, it was a couple of people left. I'll pretend it had nothing to do with the fact that I was giving the seminar, and I'll just say that I actually listened to them when they said they had to leave because their mom was calling them. But other than that, it was a lot of fun. It was funny because I'd planned to do one thing, and as I hit the floor, the whole plan went to hell, and I decided to do something else because the plan I had was to go over some material I had done before, but I decided that some stuff that I'd been working on more recently was a little bit more, a little more meaningful to me. And I was trying to, sometimes you have to give out information to see how it is accepted, and it made it a lot easier to feel that it was the right thing to do.
Rene, how was yours? Oh, wait, Marc wants to say something.
All right, well, before I forget, I want to thank Ryan for the fine camera work, and for those of you who are members of the Dog Brother Martial Art Association, what he shot is going to be a vid lesson, just another example of the wonders that await. Try us for 2 months and we will have you hooked.
What was the question?
How was your seminar?
It was good, it was mainly Kirby based. It's kind of weird to teach in front of your mentors, sort of thing. It's like you're like, wow, I hope they don't think I'm an idiot. But no, it was very cool. I know, too late. No, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the guys. They put a lot of energy into it, and even though they fought the day before, they gave it a lot of energy. So it was good. It was a lot of fun.
How did you guys decide on the order of who went up when?
I was going to leave early.
Yeah. No, actually, Rene, because he's the opening act, he's never been there before, so he had to go on first. We're going to give him very little sound and no lights, but he decided he pushed his way in and got the whole thing. And then Marc, who had the right of closing the show, decided he wanted to do the middle act. Because
before everybody got too tired
and left because their mom was calling them. That's right. I felt like Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock playing
I felt like Jimi Hendrix opening up for the Monkees
at Woodstock. No, but Jimi Hendrix was at Woodstock and he played this awesome set.
I saw Jimi Hendrix twice. I was at the Band the Gypsies concert.
How were the Monkees? Anyway. But Jimi Hendrix was at Woodstock, and he was the closing act, and there was nobody there left, mostly.
So that famous scene with the Star Spangled Banner solo, that was in front of 4 stone dudes. Okay. All right. Well, the dessert's here. I think it's about time we wrap this up, because otherwise, all you're going to hear is the sound of chewing. Anyway, thanks very much for listening. Oh, and before we go, we're just going to plug one more event. Rene, could you give everyone the 411 on the Beat the Crap Out of Cancer upcoming event?
So, Beat the Crap Out of Cancer is scheduled for November again. We're actually just waiting on one gentleman to see if they can make it, which is Top Dog, Eric Nuss. So we'll figure out the actual date. Right now, it's scheduled for November the 5th. But it might switch to another date as well. So we're just figuring that part out.
Be very afraid. Top Dog was at the DBMA camp of last month. He's in formidable shape. He's moving very well. Be very afraid. Camp of last month. He's in formidable shape. He's moving very well. Be very afraid. Yeah, let me plug the association one more time. Big focus of my efforts is the DBMA Association. $300 a year or $30 a month. And my quickie advertising hook is give us 2 months and we'll have you hooked. There's very proud of the work we're doing there. Got a lot of strong people. It's a lot of content already and it's growing. If you like what I do, give it a try.
Also, August 7th, I'm going to be in Toronto for Team Sled Dog Team Sled Dog training. That's going to be at Combat Arts. We're starting at 10 a.m. And then on the 14th, which is a week later, I'm going to be in Rockland, which is just outside of Ottawa, at the Blue Water Martial Arts with Jeremy McCann and his family. And we're going to be doing we're going to do the Ottawa area Team Sled Dog training for Pikiti Tirsia. And coming up in October, I think I'm going to be in Quebec City for the first time. And a couple weeks ago, we did our first Vermont training. So everything is progressing along. And if anybody out there in a state I haven't mentioned wants to do something, I'm more than willing to talk.
Yeah, just remember, everyone from out of town, like, Dad's like, oh, Sun Tzu left. It's like, around here, Philip's domestic, Marc's imported, okay? He's from Hele. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening to Tuhon and Son. I'm Ryan Six. Oh, I should plug what I'm doing. Later on tonight, I'm going to be sitting with my ankle elevated and ice for an unrelated injury that has nothing to do with this weekend. Thanks, everyone, for listening to Tuhon and Son. I'm Ryan Six.
And I'm Philip Tuhon Gelina.
Wolf, wolf.
See you later.
That was Punong Guru, Crafty Dog, Marc Denny.
Woofing at you. All right.